Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome once again to yet another edition of Nerd Week Live here from the folks at Nerd Caliber. I've got a wonderful roster, and we're doing, again, as we did last week, a shortened lineup of topics so that we can get you folks in here and out in about 45 minutes or less. So once again, I am the editor-in-chief of Nerd Caliber, Rodney Brown, first-person shooter as a cosplay photographer, burly adopter on the Twitters and some other places. Let's see, we are going to start with our newest member, so I'm going to start in the bottom corner for me, and the other blue background. Introduce yourself if you would.
Hi, my name is Maya Murphy. If you want to see what I'm doing on the internet, I am Blonder Nerd on Instagram, like more blonde than that other person. And on Twitter, I am Maya Axe. I am acting, I am doing things. Maya Axe.
Axe as in ACTS, not...
ACTX, okay. Not as much as I'm an enthusiast of the giant bladed instrument. That's not my handle on Twitter.
Cool, cool. And right above you is...
Is that me?
That would be you.
That would be me. Also, hey, Maya, I see you as a redhead, being blonder, but I support that.
It's the color. I'm blonde.
But I am Gogo Incognito. I am a Nerd Caliber veteran. I'm so excited to be back for my second one of these. You can find me all over the internet by simply looking up Gogo Incognito. Gogo Incognito. That's how you find me.
Awesome. Very cool. And our stalwart from the beautiful windy city of Lowell, Massachusetts. Introduce yourself, sir.
How do you do? Byron D0 of Nerd Caliber fame, contributing writer, as well as social media guy, sometimes game reviewer, lots of time movie reviewer. I have a little podcast of my own called the We Trash Can Podcast, which is on iTunes and Google Play. Trying to get on other formats. We'll see how that goes. And on weekends, I stream, especially on Sundays, I'm streaming Tales of Vesperia Definitive Edition. It's a good time whenever my Wi-Fi doesn't kick us out.
Just to be clear,
I hate trying.
Just to be clear, you're streaming on Twitch. Your Tales of Vesperia. Okay. All right. Cool.
I might be doing Kingdom Hearts 3 soon, so that'll be a fun time.
And that is also under Byron D0.
Yes, also under Byron D0. Look for the pirate skull with the fedora.
Awesome. Sans, the comic and Kai creator of... Sans, how you doing? Sarah Stone, welcome. F&AF guy, welcome. Time co-leader, welcome. Welcome to the chat. We're about to get started with our very first topic, and it is this one right here, and that is Altered IO. No, I'm sorry, it's IO Carbon. No, it's Falcon Altered Carbon Falcon. Anyway, the news is that Altered Carbon Season 2 has been cast, and as we knew from announcements a little while ago, Anthony Mackie is taking over the role of Takeshi Kovacs, which makes sense if you know the show. Bodies are swapped all the time. But they've announced a whole bunch of other new cast members, and they have also recast, and it has now been confirmed that Poe, the hotel AI, I guess he's the hotel itself, is coming back as well, but as a different cast member. So excellent news. If you were a fan of this when it was out there on Netflix, it was a wonderful, really speculative, bordering on hard sci-fi, kind of cyberpunky show. Really well done, with some science issues at the end, but that's my thing. And it looks like the cast is going to be pretty outstanding, including Simone Missick, Misty Knight, from... Yeah.
What? Okay. All right.
Yes. All right. Expound on all right, Go-Go.
I'm actually the one who knows the least about the show because it's been in my Netflix queue for so long, and I'm like, I read the things and I'm like, oh, that looks so smart. Ooh, that looks so badass. I already feel smart and better because it's in my Netflix queue. Haven't watched it yet.
Ooh, I got one on that. I read the book when it came out, and I still haven't seen the show. So I'm in this like weird little hipster place.
I'm going to beat you both. I don't even have it on my queue. I've heard about it. I just haven't gotten around to even putting it on my.
bunch of uninformed people over here. God, what nerds we
I
are.
know. They say like hard sci-fi, and I'm like, yes, 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 yes. And I put it on there, and then I'm like, when am I gonna make time for this? I've got like all this other like horror and like the haunting of Bear and the Mimic.
Oh, yeah, but the Haunting of Bubba is so good.
But we're not talking about that right now. But this Anthony Mackie.
Anthony Mackie.
Shit. Now just from the beginning. Oh, okay. Well, you know what the beautiful thing about it being on Netflix is? I can get it on my iPod, I can take it to the gym, I can look at it, and I can walk miles and be like, yes. And so I think this is the thing. This is what I'd love to hear. Is that the next? Is this the hard sci-fi? Is this the thing? Is this the one? Is this the one I want to go to?
No. The Expanse is the one. If you haven't watched The Expanse, watch The Expanse. Absolutely, always watch The Expanse. The Expanse is the answer to anything when it comes to hard sci-fi on TV or movies. That said, Altered Carbon is really, really good. Again, with some issues, but it explores in a way that I've never seen on anything else the concept of identity as it relates to a physical body and how the two aren't even closely connected.
Okay.
And it's beautiful that way.
Okay, so that's Altered Carbon. That's what you just said. Identity, not physical body, but Expanse, number one. Yes?
I've never seen The Expanse either.
Yes, Expanse number one.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. Definitely watch Expanse. It's amazing. We had a ton of people in the chats here. That's why I was kind of confused over here. Actually, yeah. So I may wind up having to boot some people out of the chat, but we'll get to that. So anyway.
You guys better play nice.
Play nice,
Everyone
people in the
play
chat.
nice.
So the basic story with Altered Carbon, I'm not sure how much of this is in the book, Maya, but there is, well, I guess not the basic story. The one thing I really want to point out is that there's one character, or one physical body, that is three different characters. And the guy who's playing these characters includes he's a futuristic Russian mobster, another cop, I believe,
Yeah. That's in the book.
and an abuela.
Oh,
I don't think the
Oh,
abuela
God.
was in the book. I feel like that would have stuck with me, but there was a significant passage of time, and I imagine that would be a lot more interesting to watch than to read about.
It's so interesting to watch. This guy should have won an Emmy. I don't think he was even nominated. This guy should win an award for...
Tatiana Maslany up in there, eh?
Oh, yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
except this is a big, burly dude playing all these three characters.
You say abuela, big burly dude. Also, I want to see that transformation.
It's beautiful. It's wonderful. It's amazing.
I
So
feel like Gogo and I both have some homework.
Yeah, exactly that.
Well,
But anyway, the upcoming cast looks really good. It has absolutely nothing to do with the picture of Anthony Mackie in the awful show IO or movie IO that I put up there. It's just that it's Anthony Mackie and he's the new lead character. So check it out. Moving on to the Bulls. Yeah, you want to see the other thing, The Expanse? Is that what you're referring to? Let me know. If that's what you wanted to see, I highly recommend it. I also highly recommend Altered Carbon, but we're moving on to... That is Lord Asriel as portrayed in the trailer that just dropped this week for His Dark Materials. The BBC series that is going to be an adaptation of, I think, all the books. All the books, as opposed to just the movie, The Golden Compass, which came out a few years ago, which you may remember. I am really looking forward to this. If you haven't seen the trailer, go check it out. It kind of only functions as a trailer that introduces you to who's playing the characters. It doesn't, if you don't know the story, if you haven't seen The Golden Compass or read the books, it doesn't tell you anything about what's going on. It could be a bunch of people in modern England, or kind of maybe 20s or 30s-ish England, involved in some sort of high drama, politics, whatever. You have no idea. But the cast is amazing. Byron.
It definitely has my attention. I'm just concerned if the BBC is going to try to focus on the religious aspect of this franchise.
Focus or not focus? Because the problem with the Golden Compass movie was not focusing on it.
Oh,
Yeah,
completely agreed.
Yeah, are they going to focus? Because
Right.
yeah, that was the problem. They being made by an American studio at the time, they felt the need to pander to any religious sects, as many studios tried to do in like the 90s and early aughts.
Pandering so much as not wanting to piss off and therefore alienate a big chunk of the audience, but unfortunately, the trailer we get no sense of that. Did anybody see anything in the trailer that showed whether or not they were going to get into Pullman's?
No, it was Star.
Yep.
Light.
I mean, I'm excited about those stars. What's her name? I should have looked up her name. The woman from Luther. She's amazing, and I love her, and I'm so excited to watch her in this.
Ruth Wilson.
If we're
I don't know. I don't know if it's right.
I'm
'cause
sorry.
I
The
don't know what her
woman. The
name
woman who's playing the big villain.
Yeah.
Ruth
yeah.
Wilson.
I love her. I love her so much, and I think that because she has a habit of playing not villainous on their face characters, or it's always slightly ambiguous, and I think that especially in the case of the His Dark Materials trilogy, there has to be this strained relationship between the children and the adults. The children know that the adults aren't being genuine with them the entire time, and I feel like that's something we also lost in translation of the American movie.
That is such a huge part of the books.
Oh,
and
it is.
They're coming of age. Bork, you said it.
But the only thing I have to say in defense of the previous movie is that we did get to see a bear's jaw ripped off in a duel, and I am here for that.
All right, that's true. True.
Also, again, oh God, as someone who's read the books and read the books and read the books, and even like went into like my D&D family of like how do we dissect this? Like
yes.
that middle book of no spoilers, but things. I'm not going to say anything else.
Pointy things?
Give us the first movie with Sam Elliott. And Daniel Craig and Rachel Weisz.
Well, see, there's the thing. I
Sam
want to bring
Elliott
this
was
up.
the best, though.
That cast in the first movie was
Sam Elliott.
the cast in the first movie was awesome.
Awesome.
Just like the cast in this trailer looks, and that movie didn't live up to the promise of that cast.
I don't think it was their fault, though. I'm gonna blame the direction and the writing.
I will say more direction because I did like how it flowed. I did like the scenes. But yes, and also I missed the whole thing because sometimes I go back and I'm like, I just want to watch Gandalf as a fucking war bear.
Oh, war bear, war bear.
And there's times I'm just like, I'll just put this on and Sam Elliott, chicka chicka chicka. Rachel Weisz, and then Ian McKellen. So and honestly, take it over. That's all I have to say. I said my piece.
So, has anybody read anything about whether or not they're going to be? Now, I know Pullman is backing this. He's said that he likes this idea. He likes this adaptation. Has anybody read?
Isn't it your job to say that every time and go get paid and do the press tour?
I know. I kind of get the impression that he was a grumpy kind of. He'd say what he wanted to, but I don't know him, so. Maybe they are going to be a little bit more accurate. The Brits certainly seem to be a little bit more open to, thumbing their noses at certain long-held institutions. But
Hitchhiker's
Guide. Hitchhiker's Guide.
Hitchhiker's Guide. Yeah. And Byron, your mic is really scratchy, so keep the shouts down.
I think it was a subtlety cough.
Well, it was, but when you do that...
it got a little distorted.
His mic has a tendency to distort on times when he gets really excited, and Byron can get really excited, which is a good thing. Just before we move on to the next one, I'm really going to butcher your name, Kawa. Welcome from Brazil. And I'm sure I butchered your name, so sorry about that. And it's just Matt Arrow Gotcha. Welcome. So anyway, looking forward to this. This is going to be on the BBC and it's HBO is also producing, so I think it's going to be on HBO when it gets here.
Okay. Otherwise, I'm gonna have to figure that out.
Yeah, I assume that eventually it's going to wind up on BBC America, but it's
It eventually takes so long, and I'm not patient.
there are secret ways. But yeah, HBO is producing.
I guess.
Yeah, and it is debuting at some point that is not mentioned here.
Cool.
So, sorry I don't have that news for you folks. But hopefully coming up soon. But we're moving on to our next topic, which is another bit of casting. And that is that individual right there. That's Dougray Scott. And I had to look up how to pronounce his name, because Dougray just seemed so wrong, but that's how you pronounce it. The actor Dougray Scott, who has been in a lot of stuff, is kind of known as a character actor, not really too terribly famous, but I think he's a really good call for being cast as Jacob Kane, Colonel Kane, Kate Kane's dad in the upcoming CW Batwoman series. And I think that's a really smart call. Anybody a big fan of Dougray Scott?
I might be looking up who he is right now to see if I liked him, but forgot who he was.
I'm sure he's lovely.
He's in Ever After. Of course, I'm a big fan. It's been a while though.
Ever After, he was the bad guy in Mission Impossible 2. He was the cop that was investigating Agent 47? Hitman. What's his number? Anyway, the good Hitman movie, the one with Timothy Olyphant.
Yeah.
Not the other one. He was the Interpol cop that was investigating him. He's played a lot of roles like that, where he's important to the movie, but he's not the lead. But he's a good, solid actor, and he can play tough. This shot. Let me bring that shot back up. This is from. He was in the Cinemax series Strike Back, which is basically about SEAL teams. I'm guessing from the outfit he did not play a member of the SEAL team. He played yet again a villain.
It looks very fancy.
Yes.
Well, you say Cinemax, and all I can think of is Skinemax, so maybe I'll get all.
Yeah, I think the Skinemax part of Strike Back was the ultra-violence, not necessarily the skin. Although I've never seen it, so who knows? It could be naked SEAL team people. Go for it.
I'm watching it already. It's great.
But anyway, I can't wait for the series to come out. I'm glad that they cast a guy who's got really good track record as a good supporting actor to be Jacob Kane, because he's a big part of Kate's life. And that's all we have on that.
We do, because again, I'm just really here for her. So
Aren't we all?
Okay.
But so's her dad, so that's a good thing.
Right. Good job, Dad.
Yes, good job, Dad. Moving on to our next bit of news, and it's kind of related to. So it's one of those things. How do you illustrate a story that's about the Disney Plus series and the MCU? Well, you illustrate it with Tom Hiddleston as Loki, who is going to be the only one they've officially announced as a series on Disney Plus, and that's the Loki series.
But I think that is such a smart move to confirm him, because that means every mom with a small child is signing up for this service.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Like,
So
every go-go named Go-Go Incognito is signing up for this one. I'm like, it's a Disney? No, I am here for it. They got him. It'll have to look, even if it's absolutely terrible, I'm still gonna watch.
yeah,
It's as basic as I go, and I don't care.
but
don't care.
I don't think it could be terrible, because the news was that it is confirmed to be officially a part of the MCU, which means that Marvel is going to be involved in the production of it, even though it's going to be on the Disney Plus streaming service.
So Kevin Feige is pulling the strings behind this, not the other dude. I'm thinking the other dude who holds all Marvel stocks, right?
No, it's Feige. Feige is the one who made the announcement.
Right.
Oh, that's great, because there's been a lot of talk about about like the stockholder kind of mucking up Marvel Television for the past couple of years.
Mm.
Yeah, that is out, from what I understand, with the new structure. Feige is 100% in control of everything, including Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and all the other stuff, which are tangential to the MCU. But he said, and the quote was, "These will be Marvel Studios productions. They will be entirely interwoven with both the current MCU, the past MCU, and the future of the MCU." So I think that's pretty definitive.
I'm concerned that they might try to have too many plates spinning in the air, because that just seems like a lot, and it sounds like they want to build other TV shows into this service also. And I have a small concern, but we'll just keep it over here and we'll wait.
I do too, but I also know that I feel like with Marvel, if it doesn't really, 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 really ping, they're just going to nab it. Like Jessica Jones was, I feel like, of one of these. Like it was hard to watch. It was real. It was gritty. And it wasn't for everybody's cup of tea, but it was so real. And then the ancillary stuff that went with that. And then they so I feel like when you have something like Loki, which you know is going to be a fan favorite.
Oh, yeah.
And like, this is my thing, like, please, universe. And again, what you said, Byron, like, please, like, I am going to tune in. I am going to get this service. And I know what the premise is. And it is, I don't know if we can say it, Rodney.
What, that it's an episodic show in which Hiddleston is a narrator, not the main character all the time?
In which you have Loki, the god of mischief, traveling through time, messing with big things of history.
And in different forms. So he could be young Loki, kid Loki, lady Loki. You know, he's going to be all these different forms, which is why Hiddleston is more a narrator of all of his tales.
Which is absolutely beautiful and stupendous. But again, and I believe in that, and that is why I'm like, I will sign up for this, because it doesn't say to me at all that it is going to go like Hannah Montana.
So now that's not Disney Plus. That's regular Disney Channel. So hopefully there's a difference. Although they have also confirmed that the shows that they are going to be making for Disney Plus will not be R-rated.
That seems unlikely.
It does seem unlikely. No.
That's what they're doing, and that's why there's this bit of me that's like, can you though? But do it.
Well, yeah, but you think of all the movies in the MCU are PG or PG-13. Yeah. So it's not like they're making any of these series in any way that's less challenging than the rating of all of the MCU movies. It's right in the same line as all the MCU movies. It's just that people, I think, are used to now seeing the curse-laden, super violence-laden stuff that's on DCU.
Yeah.
You know, the DC universe.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
And this is not going to be that. It's going to be much more in line with the existing MCU. So,
okay.
Yay that it's going to be interwoven with the MCU. So now I'm kind of wondering how they're going to deal with, if they deal with it at all, the fact that there was a snap. Is it something that everybody's going to remember and just look back on? Of course, we don't know how Endgame is going to end.
We don't know when we are, though, and especially if it's a time-traveling show and we're going over his different adventures, we don't know what's added to his perspective about that.
Good point. I'm assuming it's going to take place sort of after... Turn my phone off.
After you turn your phone off is not a specific time.
It's going to take place after I turn my phone off. It's going to take place after the events that occur in the MCU, at least when Loki is doing his narration part, up to whenever it stops, or whenever it starts. Because it would be kind of silly if he's suddenly sitting there in, like, 1970s, although it would be really funny, hipster garb.
I'd be so there for that.
And doing
polyester suit. Yes.
Studio 54 Loki.
Studio 54 Loki. Let's do it.
Ooh, I would love to see Lady Loki in a flapper dress.
Yes.
Oh, yes. Yes, yes.
I would be there for that. Absolutely. Oh, and since we're on the male gaze part of the show right now, let me just mention back to one of the reasons for me to watch the first season of Altered Carbon is there is a vicious, brutal lady-on-lady knife fight in which Daikon Lachman is buck naked for the entire fight.
Wow.
It's both gorgeous and gorgeously violent. It's go watch that. It's
Okay.
amazing.
Party.
Yeah, it's a party. Well, it's not a party I'd want to be part of.
Does
'Cause,
that double, as someone who hasn't seen it, does it double as male gaze and lady gaze?
oh yeah, oh yeah,
Alright.
oh yeah, and that's one of the things that they touch on in the whole body swapping thing is like, you're you. Kind of doesn't matter what this is.
That's a nice message to have out there.
Yep, it's really cool.
Cool.
Anyway, moving on to our next topic, and it's our next to last topic. He says if he can get his mouse over to the damn button. And it is the Halo movie is going forward. Now, that is, of course, the other Halo movie, which wasn't really a movie. It was a digital movie that was streamed, even though it does have Luke Cage in it. Mike Coulter, sorry about that. But the news is Showtime's actual Halo. Showtime's making a Halo movie, apparently. All right. I would assume Showtime it's a series, but it's a movie. The director is Otto Bathurst, who is known for a number of Black Mirror episodes. So he's got that in his. He is working on the upcoming His Dark Materials. He did a number of episodes for Peaky Blinders.
Ooh, okay.
Unfortunately, he also did the most recent Robin Hood with Taron Egerton.
Oh no.
Yeah, that does not fill me with confidence.
Did we know if he did the better Black Mirror episodes or some of the ones you don't brag to your friends about?
I didn't look into his IMDb profile enough to find
All right.
out what that was.
All right.
I mean, I gotta think almost everything on Black Mirror is pretty good.
Yeah.
Peaky Blinders.
Peaky Blinders is good.
That was good.
So he's got a good track record if we can just sort of hold our nose and pretend he never actually did anything like Robin Hood.
I mean, my input isn't related to him or his track record. It's the video game curse will get him. Just like it got all of his predecessors. It's the curse every time.
Well, look, Maya.
Yeah.
If Alita Battle Angel as far as anything, is that all it needs is the right person with the right amount of
That's not a video game. That's a manga.
That's true.
I know, but it was just as cursed for the longest time.
That is true.
I haven't heard
America-
of that curse, so I'm going to disagree with you on my anecdotal experience.
I don't name another American manga or any other Japanese property adaptation that didn't suck.
So the
got
Netflix
that.
live-action Death Note doesn't count?
Oh God, are you? Okay,
Hey,
are we gonna get into
It was, Willem
My
Dafoe.
Is this My Hero Academia time? Is this
Um,
Little Witch?
Well, yeah, no, except those are animes. I mean, live action adaptations done for an American audience. Ghost in the Shell, Death Note.
I have nothing. As a purveyor, I have nothing.
Yeah.
I have nothing.
Japanese live action doesn't count because you have people who grew up on this source material that know what they're making these
Oh
movies.
no, of course. It just wasn't a curse that I talked about in my social circle, where like the video game curse is known amongst me and my friends. So like ha.
Yeah, no, there's
where
no question. The video game curse.
You bring up the manga thing, and I'm like, oh, your point is very good, but I never heard about that curse, and I see the point.
Yeah.
So
It's possible. Just give it time.
it's possible that this could not be cursed. There's been. Oh, I'm sorry. There was one. Edge of Darkness. Edge of Darkness. Edge of Forever.
And tomorrow.
Edge of Tomorrow.
Edge of Tomorrow. Edge of Tomorrow was good.
And that was an
Yeah.
Americanized adaptation of a manga.
All you need is kill.
Yep. All you need is kill.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you. All right, so there's the one that proves the rule, the exception that proves the rule.
All right.
Broken clock is right twice a day.
Can anybody remember a game adaptation that didn't suck?
Mortal Kombat, fight me. I know that cinema snobs love to tear it apart.
Wait. Work with me, Byron. Because this is going back some years. Was that like Raul Julia as Bison?
Yes.
That
Wasn't it?
That was Street Fighter.
Oh, sorry, Street Fighter and Mortal
That's
Kombat was the one with the
Street
the claymation arms.
Yes.
Then Street Fighter,
Yes.
Raul Julia, nothing else mattered because it was like some guy as Raiden that he was important and he was in Highlander.
Yes, that Mortal Kombat was the one that had oh gosh, I just completely lost his name. Yes.
Anyway,
I mean, I will say that it hasn't aged well, and it was totally a cut and paste of Enter the Dragon.
Yeah.
But
it was terrible, but that's how so many movies
Yeah,
are.
it was terrible.
You
Now,
look back and be like, this was like one of the last movies that Raul Julia.
No, it was his
Don't
last
talk about
movie. It was his
Mortal
last
Kombat.
movie. All right. So no, Mortal
Yeah,
Kombat.
yeah.
I would look forward to it airing on broadcast TV at like 2 a.m, and I'd be like, yes, I am in for this. But I don't know if I'm going to elevate it all the way up to good.
no,
My enthusiasm
it's
for
not good.
bad things is great.
it's
I
not
feel
good.
like currently we're all singing the song of our people. Just all tears, but we're all singing the same song, even if it's Mortal Kombat.
Seriously,
I also like Tekken. I'm probably one of 5 people who like that movie.
All right, there's one reason to like Tekken, and she's Brazilian. Other than that, there's no reason to like Tekken.
Pirate Tagawa was awesome in it. He was an awesome Heihachi Mishima.
He's awesome in everything. But all right, as I'm moving to the last topic, Zirin, because you have the last question here, or because I'm guessing it's probably going to be the last question. For anyone who's a Bleach fan of the anime series, would you all want to play an MMORPG set in the Bleach universe? Playable races and characters. As we're moving on to our next character, I have only seen actually the Bleach live action adaptation. I've never seen the anime.
No, you gotta watch the anime. It's beautiful.
Oh, God. It's too long.
The first
Let me
Too long. They're all too long.
Oh. Byron, do you want to go first?
Oh,
yes,
smart.
the first couple is okay up until the Waco Mundo arc. It is good,
I agree
And
with
then
Byron.
after that,
after that, Tite Kubo was like, I don't like working on a manga schedule anymore, so I'm just gonna draw cool stuff and leave it at that.
all right, but he does mention the anime series particularly, not the manga. And the question was, would you be interested in playing an MMO in that universe?
Ooh, only if the MMO is animated like Guilty Gear is, where it's like cell by cell, then I'm down.
Oh, all right, cool.
Yeah, none of those chibi sprite.
No, I
Please.
want some highly animated nonsense. Thank
Yes, yes. Zirin hated the live action. You know what? I kind of didn't hate it. But again, I don't have a basis. You know, and I know a lot of people who do have a basis in the anime who loved it. Go! You're chomping at the bit.
I'm over here just miming pantomime faces to everything. I respect you all. But this was one of my major forays into going from being a D&D person into foraying into the world of like LiveJournal and MySpace and Reddit and all of these things. And then I went and I cosplayed as Kuchiki Byakuya.
There we go. I was trying to make the connection here. Bleach was your
Oh,
foray.
my goodness.
Okay.
And then I role played them, and then I wrote them, and I fanficked them, and I did everything. Yes, give me that world, because I've been playing in it for 15 plus years, and it's great. I want to bring it back because it's one of the classics. Just like FMA, I'd like to see Bleach up there with FMA and a few others as being classics, which means yes, we get our own game.
Yeah, so we're about to move on to our next topic. Zirin, I hope that, well, the only arc I hated was the Princess arc. It was in between the invasion of Hueco Mundo, and I'm actually writing a Bleach fanfic. Good for you. We're about to move on to our next topic. Hopefully that answered your question. I will just add, I've still never made it all the way through either the animes of FMA or the live action.
Oh, for shame.
Oh my god, it's... Ugh. Anyway, moving on to our last topic. And our last topic is Captain Marvel and the Rotten Tomatoes. Controversy isn't the right word because there's no controversy there. The Rotten Tomatoes debacle.
Subtitle: This is why we can't have nice things.
Exactly.
I have another subtitle for it. Common Sense 1, entitled Man Children 0.
Yay!
That works too. So in case you guys haven't seen or been caught up on this, Rotten Tomatoes has been getting pre-screening audience critiques of the movie, people who couldn't have seen it because they're the audience, not the critics, that have been downvoting it like crazy to try to give it a low Rotten Tomatoes score in advance so that people will not go see it. These people are all in their comments, or almost all, many of them, the bulk of them, are complaining about how she is promoting an SJW women's agenda, and that's why they are doing this. The news is that because of this, Rotten Tomatoes has eliminated advance audience scoring of movies. They don't say it's because Captain Marvel. They, in their press release, they just say that it's leading to inappropriate behavior, but it is clearly because of what happened to Captain Marvel. Also, what's been happening to apparently Star Wars Episode 9 is being voted down crazily by people who are just, misogynistic, whiny, like you said, man boys, man children.
Yes.
So, kudos to Rotten Tomatoes. This isn't going to solve the problem because once the movie is out, obviously the voting can happen.
Yeah.
Come on, folks. Weigh in on this. Somebody's got to...
All right.
Okay,
Oh,
well, do you
God.
want to... Oh, sorry, Byron, go. I tag you in. Go.
Yeah. Oh man, where do I begin? First of all, yeah, we can start with the fact that this is absurd beyond belief. Second of all, the fact that people would have these opinions in the first place. Like, really, you got nothing better to do than to try to collect your pearls and pray that your pimple faced, mouth breathing buttocks can have your power.
Mouth-breathing buttocks.
Mouth-breathing buttocks. That's the phrase, kids.
I like this. I want to hashtag it. I want it to become a thing.
I think it's some of the SJW agenda, and I mean, Superman's an SJW, so everyone needs to calm down. But she's a lady superhero who isn't sexualized the way that Black Widow is, which is why no one was upset when we were like, Black Widow movie, yes. Black rubber pants on Scarlett Johansson, yes. She doesn't smile enough, and her costume comes all the way up to her neck, and it's not made out of rubber, and that's not okay.
It's not hot enough.
It's not hot enough. Just a second. Zeron actually asked, how does said character have an SJW agenda? Part of it is because the actress Brie Larson at one point recently complained that she was getting kind of tired of all of these white male reviewers interviewing her and asking the same silly questions. And that just sent all of the misogynistic trolls out there in the internet land going after her, complaining that she is an SJW because she's complaining about male privilege and male gaze. Butthurt train is chugging right out of the station. So, Zyrina, hopefully that answered your question. One, it's a movie about a very powerful woman who is a very accomplished military officer, who is a very accomplished superhero. Ultimately, when this movie comes out, the most powerful superhero in the MCU. Nobody, probably including Thor, will actually be able to match the level of her power. Go-Go, you were about to jump in on that.
Something I just read was with also pre-sale ticket sales matching the last two Marvel movies and getting beyond.
Yep.
So again, we have current, if nobody else buys tickets, movie's already a success.
Yep.
So eat it, haters.
All right. Glad
But
that helped.
everybody else buy tickets, it's going to be amazing.
Zarin, I'm glad that helped. So yeah, this is just an example of, like I said, why we can't have nice things. But we can't let it become that. We absolutely can't let it become that. And thank God Rotten Tomatoes didn't do. So I don't know if you've heard about the recent YouTube controversy. It is controversy. In which some guy called YouTube out for its recommendation engine recommending videos that are clearly of interest to pedophiles. Clearly there's no pedophilia going on but it is young girls doing very revealing or sexy things that don't violate.
It's not even very sexy things, but the pedophiles were leaving timestamps of I like them in the timestamp at this pose and that pose.
That's the
being
problem.
used to communicate.
That's the problem, is that what YouTube decided to do to fix this, as opposed to fixing the recommendation engine, and the guy's complaint was that if you found one, suddenly your recommendation engine is filled with all things just like it. Their solution was to not monetize videos that had bad comments like the timestamp ones. So Rotten Tomatoes did not do that. Rotten Tomatoes saw the problem and solved that problem, not blaming it on something else. So kudos to Rotten Tomatoes for that.
Thank you, Rotten Tomatoes. We appreciate you.
I have a ton of problems with YouTube as a format anyway.
Well, yeah, you and me both, pal. Here we are on YouTube. Hey, YouTube, how you doing? But, come on, YouTube. Get your monetization straight. This is just silly.
Yeah.
And get your recommendation straight. The problem is your recommendation engine. It is not, in this case, comments on those videos.
Well, the guy who wrote the article is saying from a new account he would get to those videos in 4 or 5 clicks, and that's just absurd to me.
Yep.
Anyways.
Moving on, we're going to do our final segment, and we're going to wrap up right around 8:45. Awesome. Some of you, if you haven't been on here for a while, and we haven't actually done this in a while because we did have such bloat with so many topics, we have a segment that is kind of a rant and rave we call Could We Please or Could We Not?, in which we try to either call out or praise something that's going on in the community or something that should be going on in the community. And tonight we are going to start with, I know Gogo has one, so Gogo.
Okay, mine's a happy. Could we please, and this should not be, nobody should fuss on this, can we please give a round of giant applause and huzzahs and happies to Black Panther winning Best Costumes at the Oscars. Whatever else you think about the Oscars, there was nobody else that should have won this, and they did.
And Best Production Design overall. The entire realization of the world of Wakanda was awarded an Oscar.
It was so good, though. 100% it was earned. It was gorgeous and so well researched.
It was amazing.
Sorry, I don't have words for it. I'm overwhelmed.
I think works. Who else has one?
My could we not have? I'm hearing a lot of rumors about Microsoft trying to create a competition for the Nintendo Switch. Could we not have that? Could we not have a repeat of the Kinect? Because remember when Sony tried to rip off the Wii? How well that worked out.
So I have a secret to tell you, Byron. I was an in-store representative for Xbox when the Kinect launched. This is cutting deep for me because I was there during all of those. During it not recognizing you, I was trying to sell it to people who lived in apartments and didn't have room. I feel you. Let's not go there.
So my confession about that is I actually wrote articles about companies that were using the really pretty amazing combination of infrared and sonic 3D depth perception to do like machine analysis of manufactured parts and just some wild stuff. Because that part of the technology was crazy sharp.
Oh, and they use it to scan aging buildings as well, and that's really neat. Like I saw something on PBS where they were scanning cathedrals that were like 800 years old, and I'm 100% for that.
Oh yeah. Also, it was a great dance peripheral. Like,
True.
it was, yeah, it was like that was like the only mileage that I could ever get out of it. Like doing different conventions and going to PAX, and even playing at a friend's house was like playing the DDR game that was out for it, or Dance Central, or Just Dance. It was
Dance Central and Just Dance.
Dance Central. Dance Central.
So just
you weren't playing Connectimals, Byron?
Zeron, I think you're misinterpreting this. Zeron says, I honestly don't mind Xbox and Nintendo are partners. That's not what Byron is saying. That apparently Microsoft is trying to come up with a competitor to the Switch. And given their track record with the Kinect, he is saying, yeah, don't. Get out of that. Don't do it.
I'm hoping Sony won't try to do the same thing again, because they've been trying that for years to do what the Nintendo Switch did and have failed abysmally each time.
All right, so we're running late, starting to run late here. We're moving on. Maya, do you have one?
No, not right now. Maybe next time.
Then mine is what might have been a news topic, but basically they announced that Season 2 of Cloak and Dagger, which is on Freeform and then the next day on Hulu, is coming up. And they dropped the trailer for Season 2. It looks amazing. If you haven't watched this show, people, if you've got a Hulu account, go binge it right now. It is better than almost any other Marvel television adaptation out there, except for the best Daredevil or Jessica Jones episodes. It's way better than Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. It's way better than The Gifted. It's and I like The Gifted. It's top tier. It's really good writing. The young actors are outstanding. Go watch this, folks. Please. That's my could we please have more people watching this show? And that's our show for the night. So thank you all for joining. It was a great, lively chat. Thank you, folks, for being on the chat. For me, Rodney Brown, Editor-in-Chief of Nerd Caliber, we have Gogo Incognito. We have Maya Acts, not Acts.
Acts. Blonder Nerd. It's
Blonder Nerd.
Blonder Nerd. And that other nerd over there.
There you go. And Byron D0 from Weeb Trash Can Podcast saying good night. And thank you all for joining us. We will see you next week when we're in the month of March. Yay!
Yay!
Bye-bye.